Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood at the bridge of the EFS Archimedes, watching the holographic display as it tracked the approaching Vanguard vessels. Their ships were perfect geometric shapes, spheres, cubes, and pyramids that seemed to defy the natural chaos of space with their mathematical precision. Even their energy signatures pulsed in perfect sine waves. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the bridge. "3 Vanguard dreadnoughts approaching, Admiral," Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported from her tactical station. "Their energy readings are off the charts. Each ship appears to be powered by what our sensors indicate is a perfectly stable antimatter reactor." Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. The Vanguard Collective had encountered humanity just 6 months ago, and their response to Earth's spacefaring civilization had been dismissive at best. They saw humans as primitive upstarts, barely worth acknowledging. Their technology was centuries ahead of Earth's, or at least, that's what they believed. "Deploy the quantum field generators," Rodriguez ordered. "Let's show them why human engineering keeps our physicists up at night." The Archimedes' experimental drive system hummed to life. Unlike the Vanguard's antimatter reactors, which operated with cold precision, the human vessel's power core deliberately exploited quantum uncertainty. It was messy, unpredictable, and according to every Vanguard scientific principle, should have been impossible. The lead Vanguard vessel, a massive crystalline sphere, broadcast a message in the standard galactic format. A hologram materialized on the bridge, showing a tall, silvery being with geometric patterns etched into its metallic skin. "Primitive vessels, you have entered restricted space," the Vanguard commander announced. "Your presence here violates the natural order. Submit to our authority or be eliminated." Rodriguez stepped forward. "This is Admiral Elena Rodriguez of the Earth Fleet ship Archimedes. We're conducting peaceful exploration and research in this sector. Our presence violates nothing." The Vanguard commander's patterns flickered with what might have been amusement. "Your vessels operate on principles that offend the fundamental laws of physics. They are an aberration that must be corrected." "Funny thing about laws," Rodriguez replied. "Humans tend to see them more as guidelines." The Vanguard commander's response was cut short as the Archimedes' quantum drive activated. The space around the human vessel began to ripple with possibilities. According to the Vanguard sensors, the Archimedes was simultaneously in 3 different locations, moving in 6 different directions, and possibly having tea on a planet 12 light-years away. "What is this chaos?" the Vanguard commander demanded, their perfect geometric patterns showing signs of distortion. "This is human innovation," Rodriguez answered. "Lieutenant Chen, show them what else we can do." The Archimedes' secondary systems came online. While the Vanguard relied on predictable, mathematically perfect weapon systems, the humans had developed technologies that embraced uncertainty. Quantum torpedoes that existed in a state of probability until impact. Shields that didn't just deflect energy, but redirected it into parallel dimensions. The Vanguard ships opened fire, their weapons blazing with precise, calculated fury. But their targeting systems, designed to track objects operating under normal physics, couldn't cope with the Archimedes' quantum field. Their shots passed through probable locations where the human ship might have been, while the actual vessel seemed to dance between possibilities. "Sir," Chen reported, excitement in her voice, "the quantum field is stable. Their targeting systems are completely confused. They literally can't predict where we'll be because we're not entirely sure ourselves." Rodriguez nodded. This was humanity's edge. While the Vanguard had perfected the known laws of physics, humans had learned to exploit the weird, the uncertain, and the chaotic. They had built ships that surfed probability waves and weapons that treated certainty as optional. "Send a message to Earth Command," Rodriguez ordered. "Tell them first contact protocol has failed. The Vanguard Collective has chosen conflict over cooperation. Also," she added with a grim smile, "inform them that Project Uncertainty is performing exactly as Dr. Weber theorized. The Vanguard's perfect order is about to meet human chaos." As the Archimedes prepared to demonstrate more of humanity's impossible innovations, Rodriguez couldn't help but feel a certain satisfaction. The Vanguard had dismissed humans as primitive because they didn't follow the established rules of space combat. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength was their ability to break rules that everyone else thought were unbreakable. The battle that would follow would change the galaxy's understanding of what was possible. But more importantly, it would teach the Vanguard Collective a crucial lesson. Never underestimate a species that treats the impossible as a challenge rather than a limitation. Dr. Maya Weber paced through the controlled chaos of Earth Fleet's Quantum Research Division, holographic equations swirling around her like a mathematical storm. 6 weeks had passed since the Archimedes' encounter with the Vanguard, and humanity had been working overtime to prepare for the inevitable counterattack. "Run the simulation again," she ordered, watching as the quantum probability matrices shifted and realigned. The laboratory's massive quantum computer, cobbled together from conventional processors and experimental probability engines, hummed with barely contained energy. Her team had achieved what the Vanguard considered impossible. They'd weaponized uncertainty itself. While the aliens sought perfection in their technology, humans had embraced the chaotic nature of quantum mechanics, turning unpredictability into their greatest weapon. "Dr. Weber," a young physicist called out, "Fleet Command is requesting an update on Project Schrödinger." Maya smiled at the project's nickname. They'd named their newest weapon system after the famous quantum physicist, and like his theoretical cat, it existed in multiple states simultaneously, until observed by the enemy. "Tell them we're ready for field testing," she replied, studying the latest simulation results. "The quantum entanglement drive is stable, mostly, and the probability torpedoes are showing a success rate of 300%. "How can anything have a success rate over 100%? Asked Captain James Chen, the military liaison who had just entered the lab. He'd been assigned to oversee the practical implementation of their theoretical work. "That's the beauty of quantum mechanics, Captain," Maya explained, pulling up a holographic display of their latest weapon design. "Our torpedoes don't just hit their targets. They hit all possible versions of their targets across multiple probability states. The Vanguard's perfect predictability is actually their greatest weakness. They exist in too definitive a state." The display showed a conventional torpedo transforming into a quantum state, its existence spreading across multiple possibilities like a wave of potential destruction. While normal weapons could be dodged or blocked, these new armaments struck not just where a target was, but where it could be, had been, and might have been. "Fleet intelligence reports the Vanguard are marshaling their forces," Chen informed her. "They're bringing in their legendary symmetry fleet, ships that supposedly represent the pinnacle of their mathematical perfection." Maya's eyes lit up with scientific enthusiasm. "Perfect. The more ordered and predictable they are, the more vulnerable they'll be to our chaos theory weapons." She pulled up another hologram, this one showing the modifications being made to Earth's defense fleet. Each ship was being fitted with quantum probability drives and uncertainty field generators. The vessels looked messy, asymmetrical, almost crude compared to the Vanguard's geometric perfection. But their apparent disorder masked a deeper understanding of the universe's fundamental nature. "The Vanguard think they've mastered physics," Maya continued, "but they've only mastered the easy parts, the predictable parts. They've ignored the beautiful chaos that exists at the quantum level. We're not just fighting their technology, we're challenging their entire worldview." Captain Chen studied the weapon schematics with a mixture of awe and concern. "These ships, these weapons, they're going to rewrite the rules of space warfare." "That's exactly the point," Maya agreed. "The Vanguard follow rules. We break them. They seek perfect order. We embrace perfect chaos. They try to predict everything. We make ourselves unpredictable." An alert sounded through the facility. Maya rushed to her main console, reading the incoming data with growing excitement. The test results from the Jupiter Proving Grounds are in. The quantum field generators are showing exponential improvements. We've managed to create localized areas where probability itself becomes fluid. She brought up the test footage, showing a small drone equipped with their new technology. As they watched, the drone seemed to blur, existing in multiple states simultaneously. Vanguard-style targeting systems, acquired from their first encounter, failed spectacularly when trying to lock onto the vessel. How soon can we implement these improvements fleet-wide? Chen asked, already thinking of the tactical advantages. We've designed the systems to be modular and adaptable. Another concept the Vanguard struggle with. Their technology is perfect but rigid. Ours is imperfect but flexible. We can begin installations immediately. Maya turned to face the captain, her expression serious despite her excitement. The Vanguard think they're superior because they've eliminated uncertainty from their technology. But uncertainty, chaos, probability, these aren't flaws to be eliminated. They're tools to be harnessed, and humanity has become very, very good at harnessing chaos. As if to emphasize her point, one of the probability torpedoes in the testing chamber suddenly existed in 3 places at once. The Vanguard were about to learn that their perfect order was no match for humanity's mastery of uncertainty. The quantum gambit was ready to begin. The Perseus Nebula churned with cosmic gases and stellar radiation, its swirling clouds creating an ever-shifting maze of light and shadow. Admiral Rodriguez watched from the Archimedes' bridge as the enhanced sensor display tracked the approaching Vanguard symmetry fleet. 100 ships arranged in a perfect geometric lattice. They're beautiful, in their own way, Lieutenant Chen commented, studying the enemy formation. The Vanguard vessels moved as one, their positions maintaining mathematical precision despite the nebula's chaotic currents. Each ship was identical to its neighbors, their energy signatures pulsing in perfect synchronization. Beauty can be a weakness, Rodriguez replied, especially when it comes from rigid perfection. She opened a channel to the rest of the human fleet. 30 ships of varying sizes and designs, each modified with Dr. Weber's quantum technology. All vessels, battle stations. Remember your training. The enemy expects perfection. Give them chaos. The Vanguard commander's transmission cut through space, their tone carrying the same geometric certainty as their ships. Your continued existence is an affront to cosmic order. Surrender now, and we will ensure your species' transition to proper civilization is minimally traumatic. Rodriguez smiled. I have a counter-proposal. She nodded to Chen. Initiate quantum field dispersion. The space around the human fleet suddenly became uncertain. Each ship activated its probability drive, creating overlapping fields of quantum instability. To the Vanguard sensors, the human vessels appeared to exist in multiple states simultaneously, their positions and trajectories becoming matters of probability rather than certainty. What is this abomination? The Vanguard commander demanded, their perfect patterns showing signs of distortion. You corrupt the very fabric of space-time. We're not corrupting it, Rodriguez corrected. We're embracing its true nature. All ships, execute battle plan uncertainty. The human fleet burst into action, or rather, into multiple potential actions simultaneously. The Archimedes led the charge, its quantum drive allowing it to exist in several possible attack vectors at once. The Vanguard's perfect formation began to break as their targeting systems failed to resolve the quantum uncertainty of their opponents. Probability torpedoes, full spread, Rodriguez ordered. The new weapons launched, each one splitting into multiple quantum states as it traveled. The Vanguard's perfect defenses, calibrated to intercept conventional attacks, struggled against weapons that existed in superposition until impact. The nebula itself seemed to respond to the quantum chaos, its gases swirling in increasingly unpredictable patterns. While the Vanguard ships fought to maintain their precise formation, the human vessels used the disorder to their advantage, letting the natural chaos amplify their quantum fields. Their formation is destabilizing, Chen reported, excitement clear in her voice. Their synchronized defense systems are falling out of alignment. The Vanguard launched a counterattack, their weapons blazing with mathematical precision. But precision was useless against targets that refused to exist in definite states. Human ships phased through apparently certain hits, their quantum fields rendering traditional targeting solutions meaningless. "They're trying to adapt," Rodriguez observed, watching as the Vanguard fleet attempted to modify their tactics. "But they can't abandon their core nature. They're too committed to their perfect order." The battle transformed the nebula into a storm of quantum possibilities. Human ships seemed to dance between moments of certainty, their weapons striking from probability states that the Vanguard's computers couldn't predict. The aliens' perfect formation had become a liability, their synchronized movements making them predictable despite their advanced technology. "Admiral," Chen called out, "the quantum feedback is reaching critical levels. The Vanguard ships, their systems are starting to cascade." Rodriguez watched as the enemy fleet's perfect synchronization began to shatter. Their attempts to maintain order in the face of quantum chaos had strained their systems beyond their limits. Ship after ship fell out of formation as their reality assumption algorithms failed to compute the impossible scenarios humanity had unleashed. "Their flagship is signaling," Chen reported. They're requesting a ceasefire." The Vanguard commander's transmission showed visible distortion in their geometric patterns. "This is impossible. You've weaponized uncertainty itself. Every principle of organized space combat has just been rewritten," Rodriguez finished. "The universe isn't made of perfect order, Commander. It's built on a foundation of beautiful chaos. Humanity didn't corrupt space-time. We simply learned to swim in its true currents." As the Vanguard fleet retreated, their perfect formation broken perhaps permanently, Rodriguez couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity had faced a technologically superior force and triumphed not by matching their perfection, but by embracing imperfection as a strength. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "The battle of the nebula is won." And the Vanguard have just learned that sometimes the best way to fight perfection is with carefully controlled chaos. The nebula continued to swirl around them, its natural disorder a testament to the truth humanity had discovered. In a universe built on quantum uncertainty, perfection was perhaps the greatest weakness of all. Dr. Maya Weber stood in Earth Fleet's primary quantum research facility, surrounded by holographic displays showing the aftermath of the Battle of the Nebula. 3 months had passed since humanity's victory, but the real work was just beginning. The Vanguard's retreat had bought them time, but everyone knew they would return. And next time, they would try to adapt. "The data from the battle is fascinating," she explained to the assembled team of scientists and military officers. "Every time the Vanguard attempted to predict our ship's behavior, their own predictability made them vulnerable. But they're learning. Slowly, imperfectly, but learning." Captain Chen, recently promoted for his role in the battle, studied the tactical displays. "They're beginning to introduce controlled variables into their formations, breaking up their perfect symmetry. It's crude by their standards, but it shows they're trying to understand our methods." Maya nodded, pulling up new schematics. "Which is exactly why we can't stand still. The moment we become predictable, even in our unpredictability, we lose our advantage. Show them Project Heisenberg." The holographic display shifted, showing a new generation of quantum drives. Unlike the previous versions that simply exploited uncertainty, these new systems actively generated cascading fields of probability. A ship equipped with this technology wouldn't just be uncertain in its position and momentum. It would create zones where the very constants of physics became variable. "The Vanguard's greatest weakness isn't their technology," Maya continued. "It's their mindset. They see the universe as a set of unchangeable laws. We see it as a set of possibilities waiting to be explored. Every time they adapt to one of our innovations, we're already 3 iterations ahead." Lieutenant Sarah Chen, who had transferred from the Archimedes to the research division, brought up combat footage from the Nebula battle. "Look at how their ships tried to compensate for our quantum fields. They attempted to track all possible positions simultaneously, but they did it by applying more computing power to the same fundamental algorithms." "Exactly," Maya agreed. They're trying to solve a quantum problem with classical methods. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a measuring cup. Technically possible, but missing the point entirely. The displays showed their latest innovation, ships that could actively manipulate the probability fields around them. While the first generation of quantum drives had simply exploited uncertainty, these new systems could shape it, direct it, even weaponize it in ways that the Vanguard's ordered minds would struggle to comprehend. But our real advantage isn't just technological, Captain Chen observed. It's cultural. Every human crew approaches problems differently. We encourage innovation at every level. The Vanguard's hierarchy doesn't allow for that kind of adaptability. Maya brought up footage from different human ships during the battle. Each vessel had used the quantum technology in unique ways, creating combinations and tactics that even their own scientists hadn't predicted. One captain had used their quantum field to create a cascade of temporal echoes, making their ship appear to attack from multiple points in time simultaneously. Another had turned their engine signature into a quantum virus, causing Vanguard targeting systems to question their own existence. "This is how we stay ahead," Maya explained. "We're not just building better weapons or stronger shields. We're creating tools that reward creativity and improvisation. The Vanguard see technology as a means to impose order. We see it as a way to explore chaos." A junior researcher raised her hand. "But Dr. Weber, aren't we worried that all this quantum manipulation might have unforeseen consequences? We're playing with the fundamental forces of reality." Maya smiled. "That's exactly what the Vanguard don't understand. Reality isn't some fragile thing that needs to be protected from chaos. Chaos is its natural state. The more they try to impose order, the more energy they waste fighting against the universe's true nature." She brought up the schematics for their next innovation, quantum communication systems that didn't just transmit information, but transmitted possibilities. Messages that could contain multiple meanings simultaneously, coming together into coherence only when properly received. The Vanguard think they're perfect because they eliminated uncertainty from their civilization. Maya continued. But uncertainty isn't a flaw to be eliminated. It's a tool to be mastered. And humanity, we're getting very, very good at mastering it. As if to emphasize her point, one of the prototype quantum drives in the testing chamber suddenly shifted through several probability states, each one more bizarre than the last. The Vanguard might be learning to deal with uncertainty, but humanity was learning to surf the waves of chaos itself. "The next battle won't be like the last," Captain Chen warned. "They'll be prepared for our current tactics." "Good," Maya replied with a confident smile. "Because we won't be using current tactics. We'll be using impossible ones. The Vanguard are learning to expect the unexpected, but they're still not ready for the unimaginable." The vast expanse of space near the Orion Arm crackled with quantum potential. Admiral Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Archimedes, now upgraded with Dr. Weber's latest innovations, watching as the largest Vanguard fleet ever assembled approach Earth's defensive line. 500 ships strong, their formation showed signs of attempted adaptation. Deliberate asymmetry, calculated randomness, a rigid attempt at chaos. "They're trying to speak our language," Maya observed from her new station on the bridge, where she monitored the quantum field readings. "But they're still translating everything through their filters of order and perfection." The Vanguard commander's transmission came through, their geometric patterns now deliberately distorted in what they clearly thought was an attempt to match human unpredictability. "We have studied your quantum aberrations. We have calculated every possible probability variation. Surrender now, or face true perfection in chaos." Rodriguez couldn't help but smile. "They still don't understand, do they, Dr. Weber?" "They think chaos can be calculated," Maya agreed. "They've missed the point entirely." The human fleet was smaller, just 100 ships, but each vessel now carried the latest quantum innovations. The Heisenberg drives hummed with possibility, creating overlapping fields of uncertainty that made the very fabric of space-time question its own nature. "All ships," Rodriguez broadcast, Initiate Operation Infinite Improbability. The human fleet burst into action, not just into physical action, but into quantum action. Each ship activated its new probability matrix, but instead of simply becoming uncertain in position and momentum, they began to generate cascading fields of possibility. The space between the two fleets became a storm of quantum potential. The Vanguard fleet launched their attack, their weapons now designed to track quantum uncertainties. But humanity had moved beyond mere uncertainty. The human ships weren't just existing in multiple states. They were actively generating new states of existence that even their own scientists hadn't predicted. They're trying to track our probability patterns, Chen reported from Tactical. But the patterns they're seeing are just echoes of possibilities we've already abandoned. The Archimedes led the charge, its quantum field rippling with creative chaos. As Vanguard weapons fire passed through space where human ships might be, or could be, the human fleet was already exploring probability spaces that the Vanguard hadn't even theorized could exist. Now, Rodriguez ordered, show them what true adaptation looks like. Each human ship began to implement its own unique interpretation of the quantum technology. The Archimedes created a cascade of temporal echoes, appearing to attack from multiple points in time simultaneously. The Heisenberg-generated fields where cause and effect became suggestions rather than laws. The Einstein turned its quantum signature into a virus of uncertainty, causing nearby Vanguard ships to question the mathematical foundations of their own existence. Their formation is breaking down, Maya reported, excitement clear in her voice. Not just their physical formation. Their quantum recognition patterns are collapsing. They can't maintain their calculated chaos in the face of true uncertainty. The Vanguard fleet's attempts at controlled disorder began to unravel. Their ships, trying to process probability patterns that defied their fundamental understanding of reality, started to lose coherence with their own tactical doctrines. What had been a calculated attempt at chaos became genuine disorder, as their carefully programmed responses failed to cope with humanity's quantum creativity. Admiral, the Vanguard commander's transmission showed signs of genuine distortion now, not the artificial kind they had adopted. This defies all possible calculation. Your ships are generating quantum states that cannot exist. That's the point, Rodriguez replied. You tried to understand chaos by calculating it. We understand it by embracing it. The universe isn't a mathematical equation to be solved. It's an infinite canvas of possibility to be explored. The human fleet's quantum fields began to synchronize, not through calculated precision like the Vanguard, but through a shared embrace of uncertainty. Each ship's unique expression of chaos harmonized with the others, creating a symphony of probability that overwhelmed the Vanguard's attempts at ordered disorder. Their flagship's core is destabilizing, Chen reported. Their whole command structure is falling apart. The Vanguard fleet began to retreat, their formation now genuinely chaotic as their attempts to calculate uncertainty collided with the reality of true quantum creativity. Ship after ship disengaged, their perfect geometry shattered not by human weapons, but by human innovation. Send the final message, Rodriguez ordered. Maya transmitted the quantum packet they had prepared, not just a message, but a gift of understanding. It contained the fundamental insight that humanity had gained. That true mastery of the universe came not from imposing order, but from dancing with chaos. The Vanguard fleet is withdrawing, Chen confirmed. They're requesting a dialogue. Not surrender, not peace, but understanding. Rodriguez nodded. That's the real victory. Not defeating them, but helping them see that their perfect order was just one possibility in an infinite universe of potential. As the quantum storm began to settle, the human fleet regrouped, each ship's probability field settling into a new pattern of possibility. They had not just won a battle, they had changed the way an ancient civilization viewed the universe itself. Log entry, Rodriguez spoke to the ship's quantum computer. The final engagement with the Vanguard Collective has concluded. Humanity's greatest victory came not from superior strength or technology, but from our ability to embrace the fundamental nature of reality itself. In a universe built on uncertainty, our greatest advantage was never our weapons or our shields. It was our willingness to surf the waves of chaos and possibility, to see patterns in disorder, and to find strength in imperfection. The stars seemed to shimmer with new potential as humanity prepared to help guide the vanguard into a new era of understanding. The universe, vast and mysterious, held infinite possibilities, and humanity was ready to explore them all, one quantum leap at a time.